What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to JG's Lounge, and we are back with another episode of Send Eye Sockets. Except this is a special edition called Scorched, where instead of finding a unsolved crime, we are going to be discussing serial killers. With us tonight, we got our co-host Ev.O.Lution, who's been on all of them for the most part. How you doing, man?
Doing great, man. It's a beautiful day out. The Chiefs won game 1 of the season, and I'm just pumped and ready to go, man.
Yeah, of course, dude. It's always good when we win. I'm sure Cory Kastle down there was watching the Chiefs game just as excited as we were.
Oh, just as.
How you doing, man?
Well, the Eagles are playing in their opener tomorrow in Brazil.
Nice.
So
I don't get that. So why would they pick two teams that wear green to go to a stadium where they can't wear green?
Can they not wear green?
No, it's
track.
Their soccer team where the stadium is hates the color green. So part of it, the deal was that the teams can't wear green. They've even at one point we're going to do the turf black.
What color is the grass? What color is the grass?
We're going to find out tomorrow.
I mean, you play soccer. You can't hate green that much.
Right?
I didn't look too much into the details, but my eldest was telling me about it, and I was like, "Are you serious?" And I looked it up. Yeah, man, I don't know what color the teams are going to wear.
It's probably going to be a different uniform.
In Brazil,
that's for sure.
do they call soccer football? So is this going to be just American football now? Playing in their European football stadium?
It's weird because this will be the first time that Brazil's ever had any kind of like NFL, football in general besides soccer, obviously. But
wow, historic game.
Yeah, we'll see. The teams are going to look exactly the same. Watch, they're going to be so confused.
Yeah, this is not football.
This is football.
They're touching it with their hands. What is
People are.
So Cory,
people are.
Go ahead.
I was going to say people are betting high dollar amounts. They're spending a Brazilian dollars.
All right. So, Cory, man, how you been? You moved. Your life's good. You're engaged, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats.
You have a dog?
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
How's the podcast? Are you still podcasting, or are you taking a little break since you moved?
I've been on a break from my podcast, from Evolving with Cory Kastle, but I've still been doing the show with Lou, the Sunday Stew Pot, and then we just started a new pro wrestling podcast called the Stewcast Wrestling Podcast, and we're about five weeks into it. We recorded episode 5 yesterday.
Okay. Now, are they pre-recorded?
It's pretty cool. So we go live on YouTube on Fans First. It's like a Cleveland based sports talk sort of thing. We go live on their YouTube channel and go on the recording of it then goes onto their podcast feed, the RSS feed. So that would be their the Combat Zone network.
All right. That's a totally different.
It's kind of cool. Yeah. But I mean, we pre-record. We do pre-record the stew pot, so we pre-record. We'll do we go at 11 o'clock. We record the stew pot that we then schedule to come out on Sunday, and then at 12:30 is when we go live on the YouTube channel.
Okay.
It's Pretty neat, dude.
Right on, man. Evolution, you had a show this morning, man. How'd it go?
Oh man, it went super great. It was the numbers are awesome too, man. And really, really, really good show this morning. The guest I had just fit right in with
Yeah.
the subject and the topic, and
Good.
we hit it big.
Yeah, man, I agree. I skimmed through some of it, watched a bit of it, and numbers are clearing a couple hundred already. Cory, something I found out when you stream live to Facebook, it's automatically private. So you have to go in and change the live feed to public. And I had no clue for the last 4 freaking years until about 3 weeks.
There's also a good way to like enable the comments.
Yes.
To make it public like that makes the comments enabled as a feature.
Yes. And
But
just in the last couple weeks, we've seen a jump in numbers.
I can't believe you didn't know that.
No, like I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, something happened. I think maybe I accidentally clicked something on like edit post or something, and I clicked on the edit privacy, and it said private. And I was like, "What the?" And I went to all of them. And I'm like, "This, I can't believe."
Man, what a fun club.
Years, man. I've done this for years, and I always wondered that. And now, I mean, we're clearing hundreds of views in a day,
That's
and they just keep going. So I've been, trying to take the network and restreaming the older episodes and fixing, that. And we've seen, I mean, just in the last 2 weeks, I mean, our numbers are like this. So it's good.
Great.
Feels good, man. It feels good. Thanks for telling me, Cory. I appreciate it.
I didn't know you didn't know. I swear you were a bigger pro at this than me. Like you have people under you doing like who are answering to you, and like they're going to you as their source for knowledge. Nobody comes to me and asks me about features on streaming platforms. I mean, the thing is, I used to have my co-host Lou. We used to do. He used to like be my on my StreamYard account, and he used to sometimes host the show, so I didn't have to, and like do that all the other stuff. I'm too attention deficit to like pay attention to like who's commenting or like that distracts me too much that like I'll like maximize the screen and never look at the comments. But it's like now that we're doing it on the Fans First like StreamYard and Lou's doing it that way, we're not getting as many viewers on that YouTube page as we would get if I could connect my Facebook and my YouTube and all that stuff. But I can't see what he's doing, and I can't explain to him what he's doing because he's 50.
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying some about some dog and tricks and all that stuff.
All right. Well, tonight, guys, we also usually have Sean Shank with us as well. I was hoping to be the four of us. Sean had a very busy day, so he's going to be skipping out on this episode, which is fine. But everybody, thanks for tuning into the show and making JG's Lounge what it is. And hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's show. Tonight, we are going to be talking about Albert Fish. Are you familiar with Albert Fish?
No.
No. Well, what do you think when you see this guy?
It looks like one of those old school photographers or doctors.
Yeah.
Some type of profession from the old days.
I gotta tell you right now, if that's who this guy was, we wouldn't be talking about him tonight.
Okay.
It looks like he would take his hat off and his brain would be showing.
Closer. You're getting closer.
Is he some type of physician?
No.
Okay.
Close. He is what's the term for it? He's a pseudomasochist.
Huh.
which is close to physician, right?
Pseudomasochist or sadomasochist?
Sado. That's what I meant to say. He's a
Okay.
sadomasochist. Are you
Okay.
familiar with what that term is?
Enlighten me.
Corey might know
Sounds
since he
weird.
had to correct me.
It's like they fetishize pain, really.
Yes, yes, he is a sadomasochist, self-inflicted and upon others. So tonight we're going to be talking about his life and some of the interesting things that he's done.
Okay.
All right, so Albert Fish was born Hamilton Howard Fish, May 19th of 1870, to his parents. Let's see here.
And how did he stumble upon Albert then?
So I do a lot
Was he
of
the first one to get his wiener pierced.
there's some of that in this.
Oh,
Oh.
now we know the origins of that.
So actually I stumbled upon him because I do research for all the other episodes of Singed Eye Sockets, and he has popped up several times, but it wasn't really the way that the flow of the show went, because typically what we do is we find unsolved crimes, we discuss the crimes and kind of come up with our own theory of what happened.
Mhm.
I was wanting to do a separate show where we talk about serial killers, and instead I decided of just doing like a special edition Singed Eye Sockets episodes where every now and then we'll just discuss serial killers and sort of their upbringing and the crimes that they committed, and then discuss how absurd they are.
Okay.
So Albert Fish was born May 19th of 1807 to Randall Fish, who was born in 1795, and Ellen Frances Howell, who was born in 1838. So his dad was 43 years older than his mother.
Wow.
Yes, quite a bit older. His dad, Randall, was a riverboat captain, not very wealthy, but for some reason he hooked
So a
mom.
guy named Fish was a boat captain? Jeez.
Randall
That's kinda on the
Fish
nose.
was a riverboat captain. He was of Scottish English ancestry, and his mom was diagnosed with.
Wait, so you're saying wait, say what he was again? Scottish
He
and
was
what?
Scottish English.
Not Swedish.
No, did I say Swedish?
No, but I heard Swedish because I wanted to say Swedish fish.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those are pretty tasty.
I was thinking a lot about Swedish fish.
So there were 3 other children besides Albert. Albert was the youngest, and the mom had some issues with some medical issues that caused her to hallucinate. Her uncle had mania and was confined to a mental institution along with his brothers. His paternal half brother suffered from schizophrenia, and his sister Annie was diagnosed with mental affliction. So, I mean, the family.
This Swedish fish had some Sour Patch Kids.
There's
You
a
know,
lot going
Corey,
on with
thank
that
you
family.
for coming in on this episode, because you're just giving me a lot of humor to this very deranged character here. So on October 16th, 1875, Fish's father died of a heart attack. He was the breadwinner for the family. The mom couldn't hold down a job at the time, so she turned the kids over to foster care in Washington, D.C., actually. Now, this is about the time where Albert starts to realize that he enjoys pain. He's getting physically beaten by the nuns. He's getting beaten by the kids.
Wow.
He's even beaten some of the kids. And he's only 5, so
Nice.
he realizes that he enjoys the pain. Like, he's getting pleasure from the pain at a very, very young age.
A very developmental stage to have that trauma and that staying in as something that recognition starts to set in.
Yes. He lived there until he was 10, and he even talks about a time when some kids tied up a horse, poured gasoline on its tail, and lit it on fire. and then
Wow.
released it. And he talked about how he found a whole new form of pleasure from watching the horse running around with his tail on fire.
That's crazy. Wow.
So yeah, like Corey, like you said, very early on, just already getting exposed. One of his nicknames was Ham and Eggs, which he hated the name Ham and Eggs. He used to cry about it to the nuns and the people at the school or the orphanage.
But did he like that then? He was like, I like that I'm crying.
And then about the age of 11, his mom got a job and took the kids back. But by this time, Albert was, he was totally different kid. He was a chronic bedwetter.
And he set
was
her ponytail on fire.
Yes, he was a chronic bedwetter. He liked to drink his urine, and he met a telegraph boy.
He's wasting it on the sheets.
He met a telegraph boy who introduced him into eating feces. So he then got into eating his own feces. And then he's 12. He's 12. So by the age of 12, he has not only, at the age of 12, I was just starting to realize what boobs were and liking them. This guy has already gone through, realizing what pleased him and like this like physical pain, this verbal abuse, and even these other kids doing it too. Like this whole orphanage just sounds very corrupt.
No kidding.
What do you guys got so far?
Wow. His family unit that he was in, there's a lot going on there psychologically and physically and emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
That right there is kind of a rough start for anybody. And then for him to go to the orphanage and pick up the extracurricular activities that he picked up at 10 years old, man, this is not looking good at all.
No, and it definitely, I don't want to say that it makes up for any of the things that he ends up doing later that we're about to start getting into, but it definitely played 100% role in his mental development becoming the way it did.
Okay.
What do you got, Corey?
I have a hard time believing that this guy ever believed in the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus or had any type of like normal childhood.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like when you come up like that, then how do you go like, oh yeah, I have make believe ideas and I have fun and I have wonder. Like what is holidays to somebody like that? Like,
right.
That's strange. Yeah.
To the
Yeah. So it gets more perverse as he gets older and he starts, his mom talks about and his siblings talk about how he would get caught sitting at the table eating his feces or being in the room drinking his urine and like inflicting pain on neighborhood animals. By time he's 20, 1890, Fish moves to New York City, where he starts to engage in male prostitution and even molesting and raping boys that were under the age of 6. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. It's pretty gross, man. It's gruesome and it's terrifying to think that.
Where did you find this information? Where did you find?
Well, I'm currently on Wikipedia. I've got 3 tabs open here, but he was known as in New York City. He was actually known as the Boogeyman for about 9 years.
Wow.
Because
he was also the pee-pee man and the poopy man.
He was the gray man and he was the boogie, also known as the Boogeyman. Like kids started going missing. In 1898, Fish's mom decides to do an arranged marriage for him with a girl named Anna Mary Hoffman, who is 9 years younger than him,
Wow.
and they had six kids,
Huh.
which is crazy to think about. But later on, even his kids talk about how kind of off he was, and like one of his sons talks about had walked in on him beating himself with a paddle that he had put nails in.
Ouch.
Yeah, so he was, the kids were witnessing these things. I imagine the wife knew too.
Yeah, she probably seen some really tripped out stuff.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't think he was a good dad. I have to say, I could imagine
Right.
that he wouldn't have abused those kids.
Right.
Huh.
Like especially like because he liked abusing people.
Right.
Like abusing himself.
Right.
So
I mean, maybe
Go-
maybe when he changes the diaper, he's eating those shirts. He's eating these little turds.
he actually confessed when he was arrested that when he was younger, after the horse incident, that he would take cotton balls and soak them in kerosene and shove them up his butt and light them on fire.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's healthy, right? Jeez.
Ah, man, it just keeps getting better.
Okay.
Let's see here.
This would be the spot where we take a break to pause for a sponsor.
No. Okay, so
This is brought to you
this-
by Cotton Balls, Cottonelle,
his
Q-tips.
first victim that he confesses to is a 19-year-old boy that was basically a rail hopper, which is a homeless kid.
Mhm.
He had mental disorders. This is 1910, and he took him in, and they both expressed interest in BDSM and just bondage type sexual intercourse. And this goes on for a couple months before Fish decides that there's not far away. There's an old, apparent haunted home that was been abandoned for years, out in the middle of nowhere. So he takes this 19-year-old there, finds out there's a room up in the attic that has a key and locks, and he traps this kid in there for 2 weeks and
Wow.
doesn't feed him, and until he gets so hungry that they start enjoying each other's feces, drinking each other's urines. He talks about at one point, these are things that he confesses after he gets arrested. So these are actually his confessions. Like, he enjoyed doing this stuff so much he confessed about it.
But like there was probably zero evidence of it, and it's not like he was something he was being like accused of. He's like, all right, you got me. I was lock this guy up. Like he's like he was so addicted to pain and punishment that he was admitting to something that could get him punished.
Right.
Huh. Interesting
And
take.
I kidnapped this guy. What are you gonna do to me?
Well, yeah. And what do you got? Evolution, you got something on that?
I just think that the point that Cory just made was an interesting take on it. Most people would be like, I'm innocent. I didn't do these things that you're accusing me of. But I think Cory is onto something when he says the guy's just confessing left and right of what he did, probably looking for more punishment.
Yeah, he says
Call
that.
that confetishism.
So during this time, he is a traveling painter. So it was easy for him to find time to get away, and go to this house and torture this kid. He talks about putting 27, not 27. He was putting needles into the guy's rectum and then drinking the blood from his butthole.
From his what?
From his
Bowel.
His rectal area. Evolution, I did tell you this was going to be a gory one.
You did. You did.
He talks about how he loved go ahead.
I want to recycle a joke that my good friend Nick Burke told live on Monday Night Raw. He did a segment on Monday Night Raw years ago where he was playing a bad comedian, and he said the joke on stage wrecked him, damn near killed him.
Did people actually laugh or did they boo him?
No, the point was that it was supposed to be bad, and it was supposed to have people going, "Boo, go to the state!" Like it was for him. It was purposely bad for him to get hecked.
He Fish mentions that he said, I shall never forget his scream or the look he gave me." He said, I initially intended to take him up there to kill him, but when I realized there was a key, I just kept him and tortured him for 2 weeks. So he talks about shoving needles into not only his rectum, but into his penis, like straight through it. Until the very end when he decides to just rip his penis off altogether and kiss him farewell. He says he took a train home and never went back to check on him. He's like, I don't know what happened to him.
Probably nothing good.
I imagine he just dead.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm sure there's more, right?
There's a lot more, actually. Let's see here. In 1927, 4-year-old Billy Gaffney disappeared from his Brooklyn apartment building while playing with his neighbor friends, the Beaton brothers. The Beaton, Beaton brothers. According to the police, Billy described the perpetrator, Billy Beaton. How many? Oh, there's Billy Gaffney and Billy Beaton. Okay, so it's a different Billy. Described the perpetrator who took his friend as the boogeyman. Eventually, Fish confesses to not only abducting the child, but eating him.
Wow.
Yes. So now he is
He's beaten.
Eaten beaten. That shouldn't be funny. But this kid's name is Billy Gaffney. So no, he was eating Gaffney.
So then let's take all the funny away from it already. Dang it.
I'm laughing out of, overwhelming disgust.
Yes. Oh my God. He does confess saying that he believes he killed at least 400 victims.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Mostly children and teens who he thought wouldn't be missed.
Wanted to be missed. Wow.
They thought wouldn't be missed.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah. And then let's skip to so he finds this letter in the news of this kid looking for a job. His name was Edward Budd. Man, these names are wonderful.
Right.
And he goes to Bud's house and talks to his parents, says he's a farmer and he needs help on his farm, and hires Bud and kind of gets close to the family. But Edward has a younger sister who is 10 years old at the time, who Fish decides to ask the parents if he could take the daughter to his niece's birthday party.
Wow.
Which they agreed to because he got close to him.
Mm-hmm.
As you guys saw the picture, I mean, did it just kind of look like a normal skinny ass dude?
Right.
He said that he strangled her, mutilated the body, and ate her remains over a 9-day period.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's some next level evil type of stuff.
Yes. So he was never a suspect. They did take in 2 suspects that they thought were the killers, which makes no sense to me, especially if the parents knew where that she went with him and then she didn't bring him home. Mm-hmm. So 6 years later, he starts writing letters to the family about the fact that how much he enjoyed eating their daughter.
Oh my goodness.
Because he thought it would bring some closure.
Wow.
Right. And that
would be bringing more torture to them, and that's what he likes.
Yeah. So of course he's enjoying every bit of it.
Yeah.
And this is the little girl. This is the girl that he took. And her name's Gracie.
She's wearing the same necklace as me.
Oh yeah. So you did it.
He's swearing the evidence.
Where are we at so far, guys? What do you got?
Wow. Cory, you want to go first?
I just think it's so funny with like the subgenre of true crime and documentaries and how people get addicted to. There was a whole South Park episode about this genre of true crime, and they were calling it murder porn.
Huh.
And this with the crazy, I bet you there's plenty of like documentaries and stuff dedicated to this guy and the acts that he's pulled.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny because like time has changed so much that like nobody this sick could get away with this kind of stuff. But
It's grotesque, man. I mean, the time frame, but like, let's break it down here, though. Like, the fact that he was introduced to this so young, like, I'm not trying to cover for this dude at all. Like, this dude needed to be killed.
You're a fish apologist, is what I'm saying.
But I mean, at such a young age, and on top of that, you're talking about it. His dad's 73. Like, there's medical information out there and facts that say that over a certain age, your sperm, you're still shooting, but they ain't the best sperm. Obviously, all the kids had issues. His
Right.
family had issues,
There's
and then
sour patches.
and then he gets thrown into this orphanage where he's immediately being inflicted pain and enjoying it. Like, that's right off the bat. I mean, he talks about a specific nun too that he enjoyed the beating the most from.
Wow, dude. I mean, how many people can have a story that they get beaten in a bad way, like by nuns? But the direction
A lot of private,
we went,
I mean, private schools for a long time, they had paddles.
well, I mean, I guess to kind of go further off of Corey's point, he enjoyed it, so he would probably get in trouble on purpose
Yes.
to get those type of beatings, and especially if he had a particular nun that he liked to be beaten by more than the others. But beyond that, dude, to count and calculate that you've done these type of acts and violence to over 400 people, man, that's insanely sick. But I think what's even sicker is nobody suspected him of this.
Right. Well, I mean, and he's a scrawny old man. Even the cops, when they found him, I do have, let me get this one last one that he confessed about out of the way. And then we're just going to kind of go into details about some of the stuff we've talked about.
Okay.
Before he was executed, but we'll get to that towards the end. He did admit to the killing of 8-year-old Francis McDonald in 1924, Port Richmond, who went missing after playing ball with the neighborhood kids. His body was found hanging from a tree from his suspenders, and his body had suffered severe lacerations. So he he took chunks of this kid's skin to go eat.
Jeez.
So, I mean, there's nobody introduced him to the cannibalism, but I mean, at the age of 12, he's interested in boys. A specific kid who enjoyed eating feces, which doesn't help. Several of these orphanage kids are tying up horses and lighting their tails on fire for whatever reason.
The person who showed him how to eat poopy, that he introduced.
One of the things that is funny, though, is that in court, he was trying to go ahead. Did you have something else?
Oh, I was just going to say, does it say how he was executed? Does it say how he was...
electrocution.
He probably liked that.
Oh, I'm sure he enjoyed every bit of it. He probably ejaculated on himself during the death.
Ejaculation.
So the eating the feces is apparently, when they used that argument of insanity, they talked about the eating the feces, and the judge said that there are people in government and Congress that are known to have done that do that. Like, it's an actual thing that people do have issues doing.
Yeah, It's a Call of Duty.
But basically they said that they couldn't use that as an excuse for insanity because of the
What?
fact that yes.
Because people of Congress do that as well.
It's been normalized.
Yeah.
That is pretty scary.
Unnormal people. Yeah.
That is pretty scary.
I had a bowl with some
what's
chocolate milk.
What's funny about it to now think about the fact that this all was happening all happening to this person, and we think about like, and I'm not trying to say like that this wasn't terrible, but like kids go. He called me fat. I'm triggered and my life's ruined and I'm gonna like now I'm gonna now unalive myself over it. Like and I think of like how soft the generations have gotten. You know what I mean? But this is way before like social media was ever a thing. So the abuse that he got, you know, and I mean even it was different. You know what I mean? Like the abuse that people are subject to now and the cyberbullying and all that's I mean that's its own thing. You're a product of your time. But like if you look back to what 100 years ago, this guy was eating poop. This guy was right, and eating people and like getting away with it.
And like, he was enjoying it though. And I think the getting away with it might have had a huge part in it as well.
Yeah.
And when he talks about one of the the nuns that beating him like the most, it's almost like she might have enjoyed it too.
Wow.
Oh yeah. I think that the authority figures who abuse their power get off on it in a way. Like that's why the absolute power corrupts absolutely. Like that's a saying. It's not a saying for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's disturbing. What do you got? Ev.O.Lution?
He definitely was an awful example of a human being for many reasons. I guess I have to say this because I was thinking it. If you start at the age of 10 by drinking your own urine and eating your own feces, there's pretty much nothing else that you probably wouldn't try. And in his case,
I mean, things were worse even way before that. Like you said, at the age of 5, it was bad.
Yes. That's when he first found out that he enjoyed it, you know?
Yeah. So he was scarred from the jump, and he just magnified considerably in that direction. I hate that this type of person would exist, but I hate it even more for all the people, countless people who suffered behind it. But then that guy
had kids whose kids still have kids that exist in this timeline.
Right.
I'm sure so like that trauma has carried down generationally.
I'm sure.
Like somebody catch up with his great grandchildren. Make sure they're not doing this to people. Make sure they're not cutting off dicks and eating them.
Right.
It's and then so when he gets arrested, they also found. I want to show you guys this. That he had. This is where the number 27 comes in. This is his rectum. Those are nails. He enjoyed pain so much that he was shoving nails into his own rectum. Oh, hey, somebody messaged me. And they said this is where they said they found 27 nails in his rectum. He enjoyed sitting on them. He enjoyed the pleasure of it.
So he just left them in there.
Right. Yeah. They said he initially said that he was putting them in there and taking them out, but then he didn't want to take him out anymore because he wasn't enjoying it as much. So he was shoving them in there so far that he couldn't get to him.
That's crazy. Wow. And I think about a normal individual who like gets a paper cut or a splinter,
Yeah.
and the pain is just so annoying and aggravating from those minor things. And here you have this individual literally putting nails inside his body and leaving them there out of enjoyment of the pain. I'm like, that's next level, man. That's that is
It
next
is.
level.
I mean, like Corey said, kind of the levels of fetishes that are out now. Like they make things for this kind of stuff too, but like this is not. I mean, he's talking about shoving needles through this guy to give him pleasure. You know, I doubt that guy wanted that. I doubt when he
No,
took him into that room and locked him in there, he was probably fine with getting locked in a room because he was a homeless guy anyways. But some of the
right?
stuff that he put him through, it's like, nah. I mean, there's
I
no
think
way.
I think all of the stuff that he put him through. I mean, he starved him for what 12 days, and of course, after 12 days, if you're still there, still alive,
Right.
you're probably gonna eat anything that he puts in front of you, which is
Right.
probably exactly what
Nailed
happened.
it.
Nailed
Yeah. And just whatever from that point, you're lucky to be alive and have some company. So, I mean,
Right.
it's twisted. It's way twisted, but
It is.
that's
Well,
what
no, they
happened.
weren't screws; they were nails. They're not screw. They're not twisted.
Oh, Corey.
Oh, man. So yeah, man. I'm just thinking. I'm so. I feel bad for all the people who were
Right.
victimized behind this person. I mean,
Well, like
what you do to yourself is what you do to yourself. But
Right.
when you pick minors
hey,
uh,
hey,
and
you
do all
can't
this stuff,
kink
it's just
shame
like,
this guy. You can't. Twitter's gonna come. Hey, stop kink shaming this guy.
It was a fetish. It wasn't his fault. It was
Right.
everybody else's.
and you know the sad thing about what you both just said is that's literally how people are.
Today, yeah.
They would take his defense.
They would call us toxic, not him, not
Right.
them, for normalizing this.
That's
Talk
the-
about it.
toxic
What a
ones
crazy
are
twist
the-
to the story. That's true.
Are the heterosexual cisgender males who are shaming this guy?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. You only came after him because he enjoyed little boys. Back then? Who cares? You know, like,
oh man.
I don't. I agree. I agree with both of you. I guarantee you, if this was today's society and he was on trial, and he even confessed to it, I guarantee you there would be a group of people that would say something about how he was raised and how it wasn't his fault that he became what he did.
Mental illness is a thing, and like
Yeah.
it's
So I guess the question I need to ask right now is, what in the heck is wrong with people who would
Yeah.
defend an individual like this? I mean, to me, there's no defense. You know, there's just absolute positively sickness going
Right.
on at 1,000% and nonstop, moving
There's
like a freight train.
Go ahead, Corey. You got something?
it's just people's like need. They're just sick need to want to identify with something.
Right.
To have something they can stand for.
Right.
And like oppose. They want to have something that they can oppose your point with their point that they're an expert on. It's just this. It's also a fetish.
And the craziest
fetishize
thing, the craziest part about this that we haven't talked about, and there's not a whole lot of information other than the kids were not surprised when he got arrested. They weren't surprised, but the mom, which they ended up separating in 1917, but the mom and all of the
when you say butt like that, it's with two T's. But
even the mom and the kids all said that he did the best he could to take care of them, and at home he was actually a pretty decent father.
That's
Like that.
crazy.
So he covered it, but I mean, they caught him beating his own ass with nails and then stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, they knew he was weird. They
Mhm.
knew that he had some issues, but they said that he did the best he could to take care of them, like, and to put food on
He
the
tucked
table.
them in, and he
So-
always said, "Oh, kiss them goodnight."
Yeah.
So
I wonder where
basically-
those lips were before he put them to bed.
Ah, wow. So I guess what I'm gathering from this is the only place he was normal was with his own kids and his wife.
Yeah, but he was a
Perhaps.
traveling. Yes, so
Perhaps.
he was. The states said that he did do work in 23 different states. He was a traveling painter. He could have done
That was his
stuff
alibi in
all
all those
over, yeah.
states. He was
Yeah.
going berserk, and that's really probably why he looked innocent, or nobody even considered him because of it. He was there and gone before you knew it.
The only way that he actually ended up getting busted is because he had a mailbox at a hotel,
Hmm.
and that he would come by once a month and get his mail. And when he showed up as one of the suspects, one of the employees at the hotel reported him and told them about it. So they staked out the place until he went in.
Hmm.
And when the cop showed up, he just casually stood up and turned himself in. Like, I don't know, was he ready? Like, maybe he enjoyed the thrill of not getting caught for so long that it got to a point where he just was ready to go. Like, he didn't try to escape or nothing.
Huh. Again, I got to revert back to Corey's statement, and he's probably looking for a new punishment.
Right. Yeah. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with those cuffs? Is that a taser on your side? Please tase me.
Can you tighten those cuffs a little bit tighter?
Throw away the key. Throw away the key.
I still have circulation. Can you squeeze them a little tighter, please? Do you have a smaller set of cuffs that can try to pinch the skin when you do it this time? Oh my god! Yeah,
He was executed in 1936 for the death of 3 that they could pin him on.
See,
3.
like
Wow.
sometimes when they give people the electric chair, they ask them what they want as their last meal. Hopefully, it wasn't people. Hopefully, it
Right?
wasn't.
It was probably a bowl of feces and some urine, glassy urine.
Yeah.
He probably never asked for anything because he provided his own, right?
Right.
Jeez.
They arrested him while he was drinking his own pee, and they said, "Freeze! You're in trouble."
Oh man, the mind of a comedian.
The mind of
This is so hacky. I'm probably getting so much trouble by comedians.
So
Wow.
that's what I got for today's show, guys. I mean,
That's all
was-
you got? That's it?
that's it. Yeah, I hope it wasn't too much. It
was definitely too much, but it was definitely relevant.
I think
I hope that it gets all the attention that it deserves, and maybe somebody that shines light on this person, and they want to make a biopic on Albert Fish. If there isn't already one, I wouldn't be surprised because, for sure, that could be an entertaining flick.
there's several out there actually. There's docu series talking about it. Plenty of podcasts.
I will say this though, Jukebox and Corey, if somebody's watching this or have watched documentaries on Albert Fish in the past, I hope it's not for them to try to imitate what he's already done.
Yeah.
I hope it is to educate yourself on how somebody can become and do
And
use that as reasons
is
to do the opposite or do things that are right.
And I would want to definitely interview the actor who plays this guy in something, who has to pretend like he likes all this stuff that
Right.
this guy liked. I want to be like,
I think that there's something that you said about the fact that there are like fetish porn out there like this that's that deep, and the fact that it's so easy to access at such a young age. So I think that that's also something that people, parents and stuff, need to know to restrict what their kids watch, make sure that they can't access these kind of things. I remember at 12 years old sneaking out to look at a Playboy in the backyard, and like that was exciting, but like it was a nudie pic of a chick just posing. It wasn't some of the things that you could easily find today by typing in the wrong thing.
Google and the internet has no filter, man.
Oh.
You can literally access everything. There's the World Wide Web for sure. And some of that stuff that's out there is really some insane stuff that people can get caught up in or become attracted to for some weird, strange reason. But I just hope for the majority of everyone in society that this is, I guess, confined to the people who enjoy this type of stuff and doesn't affect anybody who's innocent or gets caught up in it by being a minor or just some sick person thinking that their life is not important and nobody will miss them. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And
Cory, I think something for you as well, like being a wrestler. There's that one video that I saw online. I think you were there, where somebody used like a weed eater.
Yeah.
As a stunt thing. Like people use like props and stuff to inflict pain for entertainment. And I mean, kids are into this kind of stuff, or watching it, but just making sure that our kids know.
Well, it's labeled as ultra violence. That's that's something people are really into these days. And I mean, now with the accessibility to watch any of the stuff that you want to watch, you could be like, whoa, I didn't realize I liked violence as much as I like violence. And it's dude, back in 1920, this guy could have, if he had the internet back then, he could have stumbled across a whole community of people who were also into poop eating and whatever else.
Which could have actually kept him from doing the things that he did.
I mean, you know what? Probably is a community for people who eat poop and drink pee.
I guarantee you there is. I don't want to think about it, but yes, there probably is.
Poop groups.
Poop groups. Gotta go to my PP meeting, guys.
Oh man! Wow.
What's that? You should go by and check it out sometime. It's interesting.
Oh, I got a 6 month. I got a 6 month coin.
I'm allowed to bring two. I can bring two guests.
Thanks for sharing.
Jeez. Oh man. So Jukebox, I'm interested to know what your thoughts are on this individual.
So the reason that I decided to do a Scorched edition of Singed is because I stumbled on this a few times, and there's actually a few other cases that are twisted differently. And I wanted to tackle it. And at one point I was thinking about doing a whole nother show, but I figured just doing special editions because I could dive more into the details. As far as this Albert Fish character, I'm the fact that he looked so like, he just looks like just this plain old man. Like you don't know you're strange. You don't know strangers. You don't know anything about somebody that can look welcoming and friendly, and then go and do this kind of thing. It could be your next door neighbor, for all you know. So I think it's nice to know. I think it's a good thing to tell people to know your bubble. Know who's in your bubble, and especially if you suspect stuff. Probably question if they should be in your life or not. And the fact that he had his whole family that didn't even know.
Yeah,
like the extremity of it. Even like that's how easy it was for him to hide it. He developed a skill of doing what he did because of the things that he saw growing up, the things that were okay in the orphanage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it talks about how he was a frequent bedwetter until he was 11. He probably wetted the bed so he could get beat. You know, I mean, these
Yeah,
and
yeah,
just things like that. I think it's an extremely deranged and twisted story.
yeah.
And it's not even a story. It's there's plenty of documentation about it that you can find online. It actually happened. This guy existed. I mean, it's a twisted world.
Right. I think the biggest thing to realize here is how he could switch it off in order to bait somebody in. You know, he could appear to be this genuine, really nice guy and become friends with a family so trusted that they would give their own daughter to for him to take to a birthday party. You know, I'm like, why would they not? Well, hey, I'll go, I'll take her or something like that. But he gained their trust so much to where he could use that excuse to take their daughter from them.
Yeah.
That's probably the scariest thing of all of it. You know what I mean? The way he could appear to be normal and this general nice guy, and he was such a massive massacre type of person. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. But then he went to as far as, you know, try to give the family some closure by writing them some letters about how much he enjoyed eating their daughter.
Dude, that is that right there. uh, how does anyone respond to something like that? You know, it probably would press a button of rage so hard that you'd be like, you better not let me near him. You know,
Right.
you better not let me know where he's
The
at.
arresting
Because,
officer, the fact that the arresting officer didn't just shoot him on the spot, you know, I'm shocked.
right, right. I mean, why would you want to? Once you found out what this person had did and admitted to, why mess around with it? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So many lives were lost, and he said 400. How do we know it was just 400?
Yeah.
You
I
know what I
mean,
mean?
it's
He
exaggerated either side, but that's still a fuck ton of deaths.
heck yeah. So over all those years, uh, I mean, what if he lost count? You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
mean, he's been through all these states, and all these lives were, all these people came up missing. There's unsolved mysteries out the yin yang. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And this guy was personally responsible for a
Mhm.
great number of them.
Yeah.
That's insane, man.
What you got for the last thought there, Corey?
What a waste.
Serious. I mean, really, seriously.
Uh,
What a waste of a being.
oh man, Corey, you're on fire, man. Oh man.
I mean, I never thought I'd ever have a conversation about this person who I never knew existed, and I also I would have been fine to never hear about this person. Thanks, Jukebox.
True,
Hey, you
right?
know what?
Right.
So, well, is that really your final statement? Is that all you got?
No, no, I do. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you invited me on here. I hopefully people get some value out of us trying to bring a little light to this to this dark thing and comparing time, dude, learning from the past. They say he who is ignorant to the past, his past is doomed to repeat it or something. Is that how that goes? So
Something
like,
like that. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, this is all important. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Right.
So if someone's nice and becomes friends with your family and wants to take your little daughter to a birthday party, say no.
They know.
Also, I've been getting into. I think the algorithms found me, and I've been scrolling through a lot of people like vigilantes,
Hmm.
hunting down pedophiles and beating the crap out of them in
Yeah.
WalMarts.
Yeah.
that's been something I've really been enjoying. And now that people, if they've listened to this show and I've already started talking about it, and their phones hear them listening to me talking about it, that's going to be popping up on their algorithms now, and will also probably be popping up on your algorithms too.
Right. Yeah, and the biggest thing about Singed Eye Sockets is it's a perception-based true crime podcast. So when I present the evidence and we talk about our views on it, yeah, we throw in some satirical dark comedy, mostly Cory Kastle. But we do actually, in a lot of the shows we come up with conspiracy theories on some of these other cold cases. But I do it because it's I enjoy researching topics and I enjoy talking about not necessarily this case in general specifically,
Right.
but just like bringing these things to light. And I think that people enjoy it. The true crime genre in itself is a very popular, even in TV series, all that. Like people love to hear about this stuff, and I think doing it from a perspective of people who can find sort of the lightness to it, and even kind of discuss this on just an everyday person level. It's there's kind of an ease to it. It makes the show a little bit more relatable, kind of make you feel like you're a part of it. I think so. I do want to continue doing Singed Eye Sockets, and I can enjoy this show. Cory, obviously, I enjoy having you on, man. Especially since I messaged you like 20 minutes before and said, "Hey, you want to do a show?"
Right, yeah. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm always happy to hang with you guys for sure.
Yeah, and I'm very happy for you too.
Yeah, but definitely, congrats again,
Yeah.
and good to see you again, man.
Yeah,
You too, Evo. Yeah.
And everybody that's been tuning in tonight or is going to tune in later, check out Evolving with Cory Kastle and your other shows, which are
Sunday Stew Pod on Rumble, or you can listen to the Stewcast Wrestling Podcast on Spotify.
Right. And Ev.O.Lution, you can find him on JG's Lounge and on all social medias. He's got several shows. He's got About That. That's Life with Ev.O.Lution. We do a show called Consistently Inconsistent together.
And What's Going On.
So until next time, everybody, we'll see you around.
Take care. Peace.
Show's over.